What's Gucci, guys? What's Gucci, gang? How's everyone? Okay, testing. Cool. But yeah, for the future reference, that's a good idea. Okay, so how is everybody? How is everyone doing on?
Yo!
Very good, very good. Today's Friday. Today's a good day. It's a good day. So, I'm glad, guys. I'm glad. But, today is a stream like any other day, aka every other week, aka sometimes on Fridays and sometimes on Sundays, sorry. But, do you have any questions? I've missed you, Rusted. Oh, god damn. Thank you. What's good, Theo? Welcome back to the stream once again. I know you're always on the streams. It's always nice to see you.
Hello, I really appreciate the folks in here that you just see all the time, and we honestly start at such random times. We try to be on a very similar time, but life gets to us. But you guys come here at we're random ass times, and you're here almost within seconds. I really appreciate that. Like, that takes skill, to be honest.
You know what we call that? Troopers. You guys are real troopers. You guys
literally
are soldiers. That's what we say. Soldiers. Okay? But skill and no life. All skill and no life. Any good series to watch? Actually, you know what? I suggest you to watch something. I've watched the show yesterday. I binged it. Which, me binging a show, it means a lot. It's called Adolescence. Amazing show. Fuck, it's such a good show. Fuck. It's only 4 episodes, by the way. But they're such good episodes, you'll be blown away. Adolescence. Try it out. You'll see. You'll like it. It's my favorite stream. Sam and Dean Winchester. Yeah. Anyway.
Sam and Dean Winchester. Wait. Who's who? Who's who? Let's ask the real question.
First of all, why would there be a Sam in the team? Come on, this don't it doesn't fit. You're not. I'm not Sam. Fucking no way. You're not Sam either. You're not good. Is Dean Ring? Ross is Dean. Ring is Sam. Ring.
Which one is Dean?
Sam, though.
Dean. I never watched Supernatural.
You've never watched Supernatural?
No, I was wanted to.
I related to Dean a lot. It's crazy. Could you explain a simple accepting? Guys. Enneagram. Okay? We decapitated socionics a long time ago. We don't do that here.
You mean socionics? You mean PY for nerds?
We don't do that. Those times are over. I heard Ring loves PY subtypes. And I know where this came from. Because
fuck.
Listen, I've seen their interaction on the Discord server. And I saw Ring being like, fuck the PY subtypes. I cannot cope with them. He's basically doing a passive-aggressive almost dig at him. In a very, cool way. In a very, haha, it's not that serious. It's a joke. Ras habla español. Could you explain what accepting and producing would be like if it was an Enneagram? It is an Enneagram.
That's such a funny way of getting your answer.
Yeah, see, now, that to me is, habla español hermoso. Habla español hermoso. Hopefully that's not,
No, I think you're fine with that. I think that means I think that's like a family member in Spanish. I think you're chilling.
Like a brother?
Like an
uncle? It doesn't make sense. Hermoso doesn't make sense.
It means beautiful? Oh, you're beautiful. Never mind. I thought it was like hermano.
No, I'm suspect of this though. I'm sussy.
It means beautiful. So, honestly, I did just I was like, yeah, he's probably telling the truth here, but maybe he's lying actually.
Hermoso is. Are you going to make videos about other PY elements? Yes. I will. Very soon. I might do like some reaction video next. And then I'm gonna do a PY, probably emotion as the next placement, because emotion, you know. I mean, fuck. I feel like it's underrated. People hate it, so I think it's underrated. People hate it. You know the rhyme? Do you see the rhyme? But that's what I'm gonna do most likely. Why socionics is decapitated? It's not decapitated, but it's Enneagram, you know. That's what we doing. That's what we doing.
Enneagrams were fun to talk about. Let's be real.
Enneagram is really fun to talk about. It's really fun to circle jerk. Google Translate is free, guys. I didn't know that actually. Beautiful and handsome. Yeah, okay. Okay, my bad, bro. I didn't know. You know, I thought maybe you were saying something about my mom. Who knows, right? Who knows? So I just assumed, but thank you. Is it normal to enjoy and personally modify your role function? Well, you cannot modify your role function. You know?
Yeah, what does that mean? That's interesting.
Is Jack from Titanic really socialite? I mean, Naranjo typed him a socialite.
Oh, did he? That's so interesting.
He did. Mm-hmm. So with someone like Jack, people say two core, but that also doesn't make sense. So why does he have passion of pride? It doesn't really fit that, you know. I feel like socialite might be like acceptable typing for him. Is he like a great representation of fucking all of the facets of the 8? No, but I don't think that doesn't mean he's not one, you know. I think he's supposed to portray the spirit of adventure of socialite, which some obviously, I find it weird, the whole like spirit of adventure, and I know it's probably comes from Jack London take, right? Spirit of fucking adventure. I get that, sure. It's I guess I could see it maybe if you take your friends and you all together go on a trip and you go on an adventure and you overcome odds. I could see it. I could see that. That could be something cool. You know, I could see the ideal of that. But Rose is probably Rose is a woman, so nah, come on, man. Come on, man.
You know the craziest take I've heard, right? The craziest take, and this was like 2 years ago, that if you are a woman, you can't have higher than second volition because of society. I actually heard this on Discord Typology once. It was the craziest take ever.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
This is why I can't talk to people on Discord, to be honest.
Crazy. Well, it depends where you talk. I think once you see someone saying such takes, I mean, I would personally, if someone said such take on my server, I would be very alarmed and I'd make sure to correct them, you know, to tell them that's not acceptable here. So do you want to get decapitated or do you want to change your opinion? You know, that kind of thing. I think Rose would be like some 4 core maybe. I saw him as a sexual 8. I see why. Wait, Naranjo watched Titanic? That's funny. Yeah. Listen, Naranjo watched Titanic and he cried. He shed a tear. And he's like, I wish that was me. Now, which one? That's up to your interpretation. Do you think it's a good idea to find out which triad someone is first? No, it's not a good thing to look for the triad. You can apply, maybe you can say, oh, fundamentalism, but I can tell you that you probably might even be able to mistype a triad, unless it's extremely obvious, which it might be. But in many cases, it's not. You can justify, well, he's this triad because that. Well, he's this triad because that. And it's a circle jerk. It's a circle jerk. You know, I don't look at triads before typing someone. I mean, I look at the fundamentals, which is like the passion, the fixation, but not triads. It's not gonna be effective, I think, in typing. Is it common for people to find a true calling? The superego is a block of self-actualization. Okay? We want to get better at it. We want to self-actualize in it. So in a sense, everything that we do is because of our superego, you know. What do you type? Hannibal Lecter? I don't know, Jason. I've seen... Have you watched this one, Ring? This Hannibal
No, I
Lecter
haven't.
with Mads Mikkelsen?
I feel like Jason would have a good opinion on
I
this
think Jason
actually. So
does.
Jason, you let us know.
Some people say Social 2. I've seen Social 2 for him.
Oh, is it
But
like a Social 2 from like 2 or 3 years
yeah,
ago,
it
or
is.
is
It
it,
is like 3 years ago or something.
you know? Like I wouldn't
Uh,
be surprised. Like I know nothing about this show, but I wouldn't even be surprised if he was like even like a sexual five or some shit like that, you know? Like some
oh, I see the
complete,
vision.
right? I'll be honest, I
Could
don't
the
know. I never
narrator
watched it.
from Fight Club be a 9? It's possible he could be a 9. I mean, we see him just becoming immersed in his routine. It's like he's living life, but not really, on just pure autopilot. It could be. What do you think, Ring? Do you think 9 makes sense?
Oh man.
I mean, have you
Honestly,
watched
I
the Fight
have to
Club? You must have
rewatch it.
watched Fight Club,
I
right?
watched it a couple of times. I just this character never stood out to me, to be honest
Holy
with you.
moly.
You know, everyone's focused on the Giga Chad Brad Pitt, and you know what? I was one of the sheep who did that. So I honestly, like, he was almost like a background character in his own movie. I gotta watch it again and just focus
He
from his
was a
POV.
fucking background character.
Come on, bro. Brad Pitt was like kind of like
I
the
mean,
real
Brad Pitt,
star
no,
to
but that's
me.
the point, though. Brad Pitt was
Yeah,
supposed to be everything that the narrator wanted to be.
yeah.
So it's a pure circle jerk. And the funny thing is, people idolize. People like, oh yeah, Brad Pitt's the... Everyone treats Brad Pitt's character like Tyler Durden as a hero almost. Super. The guy
Yeah.
is a villain, you know? Like, people forget that he's a villain. This dude gave zero fucks about anyone. Zero. Okay? So
Yeah.
let's, you know, sometimes I think people be like, we should be more like Tyler Durden. It's like, no, we shouldn't, because Tyler Durden was a self-destructive individual who didn't give a fuck what's good for anybody. Okay? He only assumed what he thought was necessary to be made, but that's very different than what's actually good for people.
You know what? Not thinking about it, that movie probably got a lot of insecure guys into the manosphere.
Holy
You know, the
shit,
Andrew Tate spear.
of course, dude.
I didn't even think about it.
Fight Club is often
Yeah.
used as almost like this image of masculinity, or like what men, oh, they're free from Matrix bullshit, you know. But and yes, maybe you can take some things from Fight Club and apply them to your life. For example, I resonate with Tyler Durden's mentality on possession and materialism.
Mhm.
I resonate
Yeah.
with that. You can resonate with different things of the character without being like, okay, this character is a good dude, we should all be like him. No, you shouldn't fucking be like him, you know. Anyway, I'm off topic, and I'm going off topic. Crazy.
You know, thinking about the evolution of that type of character, do you think that the popularity of like an anti-hero, he's not even like a hero, he's just anti, but like in a cool marketed way, gave rise to so many of those similar types of characters that people love, like Rick from Rick and Morty and all these different shows where you have this like Sigma anti-hero Eisen, you know, like, and all these guys like admire the fuck out of them and want to be like them, and they
Yeah,
have no actual real. Patrick Bateman, of course, you know, that's one of them too.
yeah, that's
Just
crazy though.
people
If you
that have no.
actually want to be Patrick Bateman, like, you're brain dead. Like, if there are men who
Man.
want to be Patrick Bateman, like, I know you were raised without a father, and that really shows. Because that's what the fuck. I'm actually shook. Wow. But someone says, right? And I want to correct this take. If the narrator wanted to be everything Tyler Durden is, why would he be SI based? And I'm going to tell you something. The problem with people in typology is when they hear, right? Well, Durden was everything that the narrator wanted to be. And if narrator is an ILI, or Durden is an SE base, that means he has to be a fucking ILI. It's like you're thinking from the lens of Enneagram. It's not to be taken that literally, you know? I'm not speaking to you, Spacey, by the way, just overall to people like that. Like, he's supposed to be everything that that Tyler Durden is. Confident, outgoing, charismatic, gets his way, is not passive, lives life, doesn't give a fuck. But all of those things, it doesn't necessarily mean ILI, SEE. It doesn't have to be this weird duality that people are trying to make. They're trying to justify it as, well, they have to be duals because they're opposite of one another. It's weird. And it's such a disconnected type of thinking found in fucking Enneagram, you know? Like we typology people can only think through fucking typological labels. But that's not really what the fuck they wanted to do with the character. Anyway, going forward. What do movie characters even have types? How? Don't those who make... okay, so the characters are made based on people. You know, that's the reality. When we make characters, we craft them based on people. Oftentimes, the characters actually are based on someone who lived. Maybe someone the director knows, the producer knows. That's what they're doing. They're just recreating real-life personalities because otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense. You know, obviously, they're recreating people in a believable way so that you as a viewer feel immersed. And you don't feel, I'm watching a movie. This is fake. You're supposed to look at that and be like, fuck, I relate to him. And that's what they're supposed to do, to make you look at a character and relate to him. So they create a character that is very human and has those characteristics that you or someone else might have. The truth is, humans are not that complex. We have very archetypes. You can use basic archetypes. The jock who is this way and that way. The very moody teenager who's rebellious. There's all kinds of archetypes you can use. What's the difference between a neurotic first will and third will? Rink, you can answer this one.
Ooh, this is so good.
You can answer this one. I'm going to answer some of
Neurotic.
the other ones.
Neurotic is interesting. You really have to define what neurotic is, and maybe in a follow-up question, you can synthesize the question a little bit better. I'm going to just talk about 1V versus 3V, right? At the end of the day, a 1V and a 3V's goals are actually very different. 1Vs need to claim their space, their power. They have to have control. They're control freaks. At the end of the day, it's not simply about acquiring power to feel good. They need power like they breathe. And they don't have it, it makes them uncomfortable. If they have no determination, that makes them very, very uncomfortable, right? Where 3Vs almost they materialize an understanding of power almost like something that could be acquired. That's something that should be aspired to. They might even feel entitled to it in some points. But when they actually have it, it makes them uncomfortable. Third volition is lower on a psychotype. It's weak. They don't want to have a lot of responsibility over others, over their own life decisions.
Even their life decisions that can be heavy.
3Vs, people think 3Vs grow up and they want to be 1V. No. 3Vs want to be 2Vs. They want to make decisions together with people. They want to talk about their plans. The idea of being results with their volition is not what their process volition. They want to talk about it. They want to talk about decisions. They want to know that their goals make sense. They're not people who aspire to be 1V. They aspire to have power, and they're weird about it, but they don't necessarily want to have responsibility over their lives. And that's the thing. 1Vs need to have responsibility and determination over their lives, not others necessarily, but theirs. 3Vs aspire to, or at least minimum try to prevent others from having determination over their lives. But at the same time, they really do want help creating proper determination, proper decisions and stuff. So they're actually really different than each other. I would even say in a lot of ways, 1V and 2V are more similar than 1V and 3V, funny enough.
And I think there's an inherent belief with 1V. I don't know if it's just like me or my personal experience as a person rather than outside, but it's I've always thought, you know what, I'm meant for greatness. Since I didn't know why, I thought, you know, I'm gonna fucking do good shit here. You know, I'm gonna do fucking great shit. I had no fucking idea how. I didn't really have any plans or any ideas, but I definitely did feel that way or think that way. But for me, it was always like, the 1V, there is a certain entitlement to things, to live your life according to what you really want. And the control freak tendencies, like Ring says, they come from the fact it's not like I need power. It's, as he says, it's like breathing. You need to feel in control of your life. And sometimes because you want to be in control of your life, it can seem like you're in control of other people's life, but you're not. But if they're part of your life, they kind of have to compromise to go along with you, in a sense. So that's kind of how this works.
Yeah.
Also, 1V is more inherent. There's an inherent belief to rebel, inherent sense of self. 1V can have nothing, no money, nothing, and he can still believe that he can enforce his will and he can do those things. It's an inherent sense, that is there.
It's super interesting too, because a lot of people can't see 1V in this way, but 1V is described to be an excellent subordinate underneath somebody, a subordinate, if they decide that it makes sense for their life. And they can be like the best employee.
Who? Which one?
The first volition.
And people don't know this.
No, they would never think that's possible.
My experience is that third volition actually does way fucking worse in that way. Especially when you make them feel small, or you try to make them feel like, so now they're like, they threaten me, now I need to do something. With first volition, they're not as easily threatened when it comes to power, when it comes to positions, so they're not going to tweak out. I have 1V friends, and honestly, they're the chillest and very easy people to get along with. They're not going to like act weird about some shit, because I said something, they felt some type of way. But with 3Vs, sometimes it can happen. Not all of them, because it depends on the position. But some of them, you might help them, right? You might guide them. And after a while, they'll be like, why is this person trying to dominate me? And who do they think they are? And it's like, dude, I'm trying to fucking help you. The fuck are you talking about this shit, And that's the relationship that they have with power and hierarchies. It's very complicated. It's envy, jealousy, admiration. It's a fucked up mix of everything. For volition, I don't think it's that way. I don't really envy people. Like, I don't envy people. And I don't even think about those things. Like, if someone's a powerful person, that's good for them. That's very good for them. But I don't pay attention to stuff like this, to be honest.
It's really funny. I was reading recently about PY, and I was reading about first volition, and one of the problems that a lot of 1Bs have is their relationship with a deity or God or whatever you would like to call it. And I thought, I don't really think about that too much. I'm an atheist, right?
Yeah.
But I realize I do have a relationship here. My family is very religious, right?
Yeah.
And they always, every time I get anything done in my life, I'm very happy about it. It's a good success, right? My family always says, make sure
to
go to the temple, thank God, right?
And I get triggered because it's
kind of, I get so triggered. It's like God didn't do that, I did.
Yeah, and I view that so weird, because why are you dismissing your own actions? Like, bro, like, you've done this because of your own actions. If you want to thank someone, thank yourself. Why are you thanking God? But it's almost like, I feel like, in a way, you're taking responsibility from your own shoulders and putting it on an external deity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't fuck with that, though. It's kind of sus, To me, it's kind of sus.
It's so interesting in that way. Because I really don't think about it. I don't think that there's some person above me controlling my life and I have either a positive or negative relationship with it. I don't think about volition. I don't think about it at all.
Think about it's result oriented.
Yeah.
You don't think, where do I fit in this place? How can I improve my this? How can I do that? What about my goals? Let me think about my goals. Like, you don't do that. You just wake the fuck up. What do I need to do today? Or do I have something to do? Oh, okay. Let me play a game. Let me fuck
Yeah.
shit up in marvels. Like, it's a simple life because it's result. Like result
It
physics. Same
it's
thing.
so interesting. It's so interesting. The way I described it like a couple of months ago, I think it was on PDB. I made a realization that every volition lower than first just makes volition so complicated. Like there's so much more steps involved. There's
It
so much more
is.
thinking,
Yes, it
more
is. Yeah, yeah,
contemplating.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then I think this is exactly how first and fourth logic looks at us when we start yapping for two
Holy
hours on a
shit,
fucking
yeah.
Enneagram. They look at us the same way.
The
Like, why are
result
you
oriented
making
be like,
this so
why the fuck they going
complicated?
in circles? You know? But let's address the questions. A bit
Okay, okay,
hypocritical
okay.
how someone being weak, accommodating, and submissive is seen as pathetic, but someone who's strong and loud is also seen as pathetic. I don't think someone who's strong and loud is seen as pathetic. And also, it's probably the culture, the culture of and how society views it. It changes, right? It goes through changes. But I don't think people view others who are strong and loud as pathetic. They can find them. Depends who. Some people who are very loud and annoying, right? They're obnoxious. They cringe. Like the world only works in extremes. Weak and accommodating and submissive are three different things. That's the funny thing. Weak and accommodating is very different. Weak and accommodating is not the same, right? Now, if you remove the word weak and you just have maybe accommodating, kind, will they be seen as pathetic? That's the thing. I think played Danganronpa. Jesus Christ.
Danganronpa?
Seriously? This game again? Oh my god, guys, what the fuck?
You have no idea the cultural impact that it
Seriously,
had on
this has
weebs.
such cultural impact?
Yes,
Danganronpa? Like, a game with that name?
Danganronpa. Yes, it has so much cultural impact on the internet weeb space. You have no idea, okay? This was like mind-blowing for them. I haven't played Danganronpa though, so I'm sorry about that, Yaru. I can't answer this.
Rust, you and Gone Freaks have one-on-one typology, I'm just saying. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Gone's cool.
You think Social 8 for him, right?
Yeah, of course.
You have you watched Hunter x Hunter?
No, but I've looked into the character.
Yeah.
He's probably like one of the better examples of social in anime.
Yeah.
His
Oh my
approach to
God.
morality and everything is like it's peak, you know?
It's so interesting. And of course, I thought about Sexual 8 for him as well. But I think at the end of the day, he just fits uh like he fits counterlust really well. It's always like, oh, I'm not upset you're taking my possessions, my people,
Yeah.
or you're making me upset. I'm protecting my friends.
Yeah. I'm not mad that you called me
Like,
this name. I'm mad because you call my friends this way. Now let me
yeah.
decapitate you.
Losing
It's
his
the
mind.
typical. It's the typical, you know?
Oh man.
Man, people really chatting. Do you think
Hey,
Enneagram 1
chatting.
is stupid? No. I don't think any type is stupid. I think stupidity is something that is human, and you'll find it in people who are not curious. People who are not curious, people who don't try to learn. To me, it's not someone doesn't have much knowledge, that's one thing. But are they not curious? Now, if they're not curious and they don't wish to learn, to me that's a stupid person. I don't have much sympathy for that person because they're willingly ignorant. They don't give a shit. They're just a brick of fucking nothing. And in that case, yeah, it's a dumbass. But most people, regardless of the type, if they show curiosity, they want to learn, they care about something, it's not a stupid person, regardless. Maybe they're not the highest IQ, maybe they don't know everything. It doesn't matter as long as they're always, looking at things with curiosity. What do you think about confusing? I let Ring answer this one.
What do you guys think about confusing subtypes? Sexual 4 is often confused for some kind of EA. Considering sexual 4 should be closer to SO and SB, shouldn't it be a consideration? They would be worlds apart. You're absolutely right. This happens because of community misunderstanding, and then misunderstanding is taken as like the standard in which how the type operates. But if you actually open the book, that's not actually true. Okay, that's the easy answer. Okay, the easier answer is that Enneagram fundamentalism. Yes, other sexual types are gonna look like other sexual types. Sexual 5, in some ways, hear me out, kind of looks like sexual 1. Yes, and they're worlds apart from each other, but they have that sexual instinct in common that kinda looks alike. Kinda, right? And that's the point. If you take a step back and look at E4 to E4, they have so much more in common with SP4 and sexual 4. But if you just look at the sexual instinct, yeah, now it kind of looks like sexual 8. Now it kind of looks like sexual 6. Now it kind of looks like sexual 2 because they all have that in common. Um, so Enneagram fundamentalism, take a step back, break down the type, look at E4 itself, and you'll see that E4 and E8 they don't have that much in common. But yeah, sexual 4 and like a sexual 8 would have more in common because of the sexual instinct. It's as simple as that.
Yes, sexual 4 would. And yeah, but I feel like now we're coping, you know? Like, not now, but sometimes people are coping. No, sexual 4 is very not like 8. It's like, yeah, but Naranjo made the comparison many times. Guys, Naranjo said sexual 4 is more 8 than 8 itself. So unless we don't give a fuck about what Naranjo says, or do we care? Because there are many quotes that he says that this type is this way. You know, I'm not saying that they're a fucking 8 core. The difference is that the 4 is emotional. That's the biggest difference. Biggest difference. 4 is inherently emotional, okay, and vulnerable, and that's the difference. So both can be very aggressive. There are many sexual 4s that are crazy, but they're vulnerable. They're very vulnerable, very like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is not an 8 core. I mean, the guy is so fucking vulnerable, you know, and that's why very emotional. My feelings, what happened to me when I was young, it's so hard, you know? Now, I think it depends on the sexual, for example. I don't think all of them are this way, you know? I don't look at the sexual, for example, but they're very intense people, they're supposed to be, you know? And the examples are very intense too. But I wouldn't compare sexual 4 with an SP2 more than I would compare, you know, like, no, I wouldn't do that. Yes, sexual 4 can sometimes look like a sexual 8. Yes. I mean, that's possible.
You know, I think this is interesting because we get so focused on the theory, right? Like you were saying earlier, typology community only sees everything through the lens of typology. Have you guys ever noticed? I want you all to really listen to this. Have you guys ever noticed that human beings act like other human beings and want very similar things? Because that's our fucking world. We are so similar to each other, more things in common than different. That of course, all the Enneagram types kind of look like each other superficially. Everyone wants to eat. Everyone wants to sleep. Everyone wants to find love. Everyone wants to have good vibes. Everyone doesn't like bad vibes. Everyone wants to have a good time. Everyone wants to live and be healthy. Like, yes, Enneagram types look like each other. Why? Because people look like each other. And if you keep that in mind when going through typology, I promise you, your net application of these systems will go up tremendously.
That's pretty cool thing to have in mind. There would be overlaps between human beings, you know? That's just how this
Can't
goes.
believe it. We were so focused on categorizing people that we forget that we literally are like 70% the fucking same.
I relate to none of that. I love feeling negative and empty.
You're not the only fucking person.
Yeah. Yeah. There's many people that love feeling negative and empty. I'm very deep guy. And that's, in fact, there is even a subreddit for people. I'm very deep, right? There's a subreddit for people like you. Now I'm special. There you go. How many people have I heard that said I'm special? That's the thing. All of us are not special. We're not special. In fact, we are. It's kind of cringe, but humans are copy-pasted versions of one another on a superficial level.
Yep.
It's really hilarious when you see it. Like one four-core, completely, you look at and it's and you hear both of them, and it's like, dude, it's a copy-paste. It's a copy-paste. They just have different hair, bodies, and shit. But like, dude, what the fuck? We are all very boring. Oh, an hardcore, a badass kind of a guy with anger issues who's tough. Dude, that's the most stereotypical shit. You know how many people I've seen like this? Fucking holy fuck. It's so basic, we are really, really boring as humans. And there are some fucking circle jerkers. Oh, humans are fucking super complex. You fucking wish you were complex, cunt. You're not. You're fucking boring. And the faster you accept that, the happier you're gonna be. Genuinely. Because I don't think it's a bad thing to be. It's not a bad thing for the human race to be similar. That's the nature of psychology. That's this. You have a brain, and all of us have a brain, and the brain is designed in a certain specific way. So kind of makes sense that we will kind of behave in very similar fashion. It's just how it is, That's just how it is.
It's really interesting because, like, how many problems in the world would be easier to resolve if we sat down and for a moment thought, holy fuck, all these people that I dislike, hate groups of people at given times, are actually so much more similar to me than I realized.
Yeah. And it's funny?
It's fucking hilarious.
One group is like, wow, they're so racist and aggressive, and look at them, they hate us. But yeah, I don't like them. They're disgusting. They're trash. And I'm like, bro, you're literally doing the same exact thing. You're doing the same exact thing, just about something different. Isn't that funny? And both you and your opponent think they're correct. Holy shit.
It's so interesting. And I see the chat comments, right? And it's like the most like expected responses to being told this stuff. The first thing most people do is they don't accept, yeah, you're right. We are more similar to each other. It's not fun saying that. It's more fun being kind of contrarian. I'm like a genocidal maniac. How many of you relate? Or, oh, how does that make sense in that 1% scenario where this doesn't make sense? And it's like the most human thing you could it's like Russ was saying, it's so basic. Of course you would respond like that. It's more fun that way. It's more engaging. It's more inflammatory, right? It just goes to show that humans are not so different than one another.
We're not. And there are some people who, and I think it's just super fucking egocentric and so self-obsessive, to think you were like special in a sense. Like, do genuinely think that there are no people like you. I think that's just so self-obsessive. I'm not saying that there are people who are just like you, exactly like you, no. But there are people who you look at and be like, I see a lot of similarity, and I can really see how we're extremely alike. Of course, you're still two different people, live two different lives, have, different bodies, different values. You might have different values, but it's so similar at the end of the day.
Bringing it back to Enneagram, right? Like, I'll give you a scenario right here. If you ask people right now in the chat, how similar social 2 and SP3 are, people would be like, they're not similar at all, Ring and Rust. But if you go into my workspace, which is a corporate
real life,
workspace,
yeah,
I show you, and I show you examples of social 2s and SP3s. I guarantee you, no one here will be able to successfully tell based off of just looking at them who's who. I guarantee you that. They would not be able to tell. In your mind, there's so much bigger gap between different Enneatypes than in real life. The social twos and the SP3s are actually doing the same things in the corporate sphere, but just for different internalized reasons. But you couldn't tell the difference. I promise you, you couldn't. I promise you, you couldn't tell a difference between a sexual 4 and SP4. You couldn't tell a difference between a social 6 and a social 1. I guarantee you, you
Yeah,
could not do it.
in real life, you would not. You would have very big problems.
Yeah. And Shibo actually made a great point. Feeling special is a crazy common feeling.
It is.
If you told me you don't feel special, I would actually think that that would be a special feeling. Like that's the Sigma unique response.
Bro was talking about 1v 2 minutes ago, saying he feels like he's here for some special shit. Now nobody is special. And you know it's funny, both are true. That's the funny thing. Both are correct. I believe. Okay, let's hope I'll make sense. Let's hope I'll make sense, because maybe my intellectual self has a different view of this than my instinctual self. It might be the case. But I believe, right, that I'm here. Okay, I believe my idea, my calling in my life is to do something with my life. Something to live my life the way I want to live my life, to make an impact. And to make something out of myself in some type of way, you know? So that my life had some meaning. That's what I want. Right? And I believe, yeah, nothing is going to stop me from having that, from doing that. But at the same time, I also know that doesn't mean I'm a fucking special snowflake. That doesn't mean I deserve special treatment. You know, like some people believe the word deserve. There's no word deserve. No one deserves anything. You know? No one's entitled to shit. And that's what I believe in. Okay, so I don't believe I'm special in the sense I deserve shit because I'm so fucking nice. No, it's not. I don't deserve shit. The only thing I deserve is the shit I can do and the shit I can take, the shit I can make. That's what the fuck. That's. I don't operate in the deserve. But if you deserved it, you would have fucking had it. Clearly, you didn't fucking go for it. So what the fuck? Simple as. Simple as.
Yeah, I really like your SE sometimes. I was like, that's such a great way to look at it. If you deserved it, you would have went for it. And then a lot of times I'm stuck in indecision and I forget that I can just do that, you know? So that's really,
he
really
doesn't
interesting.
deserve this thing that he achieved. Well, you dumb motherfucker. He worked for it. And unlike you being stuck and doing nothing and complaining, he actually fucking did it. He took it. He took it. So, to me, life's not about who deserves what. Because you ain't entitled to shit. You're not special. And there are some people who genuinely believe they're like a fucking princess. I deserve this. Shut the fuck up. You don't deserve shit. You fucking don't. And the sooner you realize that the word deserve is created by like society, there's no deserve. There's no fucking deserve, you know? At the most basic level is either you take something, you do something, or you don't do it. It's that simple. And that's what decides, you know? Not deserving. Stupid concepts. What the fuck will they change? He achieved what he achieved. Doesn't matter what deserved, didn't deserve. What's the point? He fucking did it. So what the fuck, you know?
You know, I just want to add to this. I know it was this huge tangent, but I think it's going to be important because I'm going to bring it back to Enneagram, right?
Yeah.
I want you to think about the average person, right? We know they want a house. They want a safe place to live. They want to eat food every day. They want to find companionship. They want to have sex. They want to feel like satisfied in every single way. They want to feel validated. They want to have social standing, whatever, right?
Yep.
And I know people are not special. Like, I know they're not, you know? And they don't want things that are different from each other because the closest thing that we have to magic in this world is money. Money is and having a lot of money is the closest thing you'll have to magic. That you can make literally anything happen with enough of those that sweet, sweet currency, right? And you know what the fuck billionaires do with a lot of money? They just multiply the thing that most people get with their little amount of money and they just scale it up because they're so fucking boring and basic, just like the rest of us. Oh, you want a house? Well, a billionaire will just get 10 of those. You want to go on a trip? Well, a billionaire will just do 10 of those trips. You want to have like a car? Well, a billionaire will have 20 of those cars. But it's not some special, unique, different way to live their life when they literally have the closest thing to magic. They can make anything happen and they just do what you do as an average person and multiply it because they're not special. They want the same things. People don't use the powers that be when they have it to do the miraculous new way of seeing the world. They just don't. They want the same shit 98% of the time, and that's why billionaires.
And it's so basic. Even
right.
Even when I look at politicians, and it's like so basic. It bro's like a villain, but he is only greedy and power hungry. Like seriously, like couldn't you be like much more original? You know, like, oh, they're doing this because they're corrupt, and they're corrupt because they're doing this for money. It's like, wow, he's doing it for money. He's like doing those corrupt things in the government for money. Wow, how predictable! Isn't it predictable?
It honestly makes me so mad. Sometimes I want the Elon Musks and the Trumps of this world to have some deep ideology that's
yeah.
But they don't.
And it's
they
a copy
just
paste.
Like the social validation. They like the money. It's the same shit. And we're just like, we are money, so basic.
Influence, power, it's the same shit. They believe in the same things. They believe in the same things. I was reading Bukowski, you know? Like he was a poet, right? Bukowski was a poet. And I was like reading with my wife about him and some of his poetry, and it was really good. But we were reading about him as a person and what he wrote in this kind of book about it almost like an autobiography. But you have this kind of rebellious person, alcoholic, degenerate. Comes out he's a misogynist. Yeah? Comes out he possibly raped people. And it's like, how can you be this predictable? Like, of course you are a sexist misogynist who like violated women. Like, how can you be this predictable? Like, rebellious guy with anger issues and alcohol problem. Like, dude, I would be more surprised if you told me like you saved kittens and you actually cherished women and you were loyal to them. Like, I would be like, oh, holy shit, that's something different. Or like reading about a historical figure who cheated on their wife 50 million times. It's like, holy shit, wow, you know, like just like all the others, you know, wow.
Yeah, you're so different.
And it's so boring. So when I hear about this dude who butchered many and then he's loyal to his wife or whatever, and I'm like, wow, how fucking rare is that? But then I find out he also had mistresses. It's like, okay. Okay, you know, like, fuck.
It's yeah, it just goes to show, right? Just to bring this back to Enneagram. You have to look at Enneagram types as people who all kind of want the same thing. And it actually shows. I can't believe it, but it actually shows. Even though the process in which it happens and the mental cognition that you see in these Enneatypes are so vastly different than each other, what the fuck does a sexual 4 and a social 2 and an SP3 want? They all want the fucking same thing. They want to feel love. They want to feel accepted. They want to feel like they're not gonna die tomorrow. Like it's actually so basic, you know? Like it's and you have to see Enneagram types as people. And people want the fucking same things. And I promise you, you will apply Enneagram better and you will see it better too. So yeah, do that.
I feel like, because I was reading about the corrupt immigration, it's called ICE or something, you know, this immigration service.
Oof.
And obviously I was thinking to myself, you know, there's this I was thinking to myself, why do they do that? Like, why are they taking someone who's innocent, right? This person didn't do anything. They have their passport, visa, whatever, right? Immigrant, whatever. But they are citizen by now, right? And they take them and they put them in prison, or they take their shit away and they lock them up or something. And I think to myself,
yeah.
So what kind of a person would you need to be? What should you be driven by, right? And it's, you think, oh, something deep. No, money. They do it because of fucking money. Can you believe that? Can you believe doing that because of fucking money? So when people are crossing the borders, innocent people, you're gonna try to take them, and then you're gonna do that for money. That's your motive. Because when you because when you do that, you're gonna get some shit from the fucking supervisors, from the fucking higher ups. Because you locked more people. More people locked, more money for you. Innocent people, fuck that. But you're here for a good time. You're here for money. And it's so cringe. Anyone who does... Like, dude, can you imagine doing that? For money. You're gonna lock people away. Rob a bank, bitch! At least rob a bank. Robbing a bank would be already better because at least you're shitting on the government. You're shitting on the fucking banks and shit. They don't give a fuck about people, so rob them. But you're robbing. You're a corrupt fuck taking care of basically taking people's freedom for money. It's fucking insane. It's so fucking dumb. And of course I was pissed when I heard it, because the people are fucking pathetic. But let me fucking answer this question. I've seen this take. It's not a good take. I'm gonna be honest, it's not a good take. And I don't think people know what sexual 3 is sometimes when they, there were retards who thought I was sexual 3. That's the level we are fucking at. So people don't know what the fuck sexual 3 is. And I assure you, it's certainly not a bragging man who is overtly antisocial, who talks about coercing when manipulating women in broad daylight. I assure you that's not a 3-core of any kind or a sexual 3. That's the truth. I used to think he's a social 3 too. But then I saw arguments and I thought to myself, 3-cores aren't this way, man. They're self-controlled. They certainly are not going to be bragging about being antisocial. Which, by the way, is frowned upon by society. It's looked down upon. But this 3-core is just going to act in a way where everyone hates him. That's not a 3-core. If you see a 3-core, his job is to make you like him. His job is to appear almost perfect. You look at him, he has no flaws. You look at him and be like, God damn it. He's muscular, he's smart, he's kind, he's polite, he's successful, he's driven, he's so charitable. That's a true sexual 3, not, oh wow, he's rude, he's antisocial, he hates women, he's aggressive, he's intolerant, that's not a that's a fucking, come on, no. And I understand, he talks about masculinity. He says men should be a certain way. That doesn't mean he's a sexual 3. That's like, you cannot do that. Do you think 8s are in this way? How many 8s are into this macho? We do realize that Naranjo correlated the 8 with this macho Mexican fucking culture, right? Is the macho Mexican culture. So yes, they can be easily like, I'm a masculine man. They can easily do that. Yes, that's cringe, but yes, they can easily do that. But nowadays, anyone who acts this way, he cares about masculinity. He's a 2-core, sexual 2, sexual 3. It's cringe. It's some fucking cringe shit. None of it is even true. People don't get the 8. Yes, 8. Everything you think is cringe is the 8. Yes, braggart. Yes, overly toxic masculine. Yes, that's 8. And all of the other bullshit traits. That's the 8-core. You're not supposed to think it's cool. We're past the 8 is cool. No, it's cringe. And you're supposed to think this. And even now I'm fed up with the type. That's why I trash it every time I can. Because I'm fed up with the fucking Sigma LARPers on Reddit. I'm not reactive. I'm always in control. Shut the fuck up, Jesus. This type is cringe. We need to, I hope that book drops. I hope everyone will see that this type is really cringe. I just hope so. Please. For my own entertainment. Sorry, Rang. Sorry, Rang.
Sorry for what?
I was going off, man. I was going off.
Bro, that's what the podcast is for. These people come here to hear us yap. They love and appreciate us for that. We keep it up. We yap.
Sexual 3 with an 8 fix? Come on. Come on, bro. Come on, what the fuck me? Come on, man. What do you mean? No. What do you think Tate is? I don't want to say. Listen. I used to think this. I had two choices. I'm gonna be real with you. I had two choices for Tate. Because the 3-core choice got removed. You know? And I understand why people think he's a 3-core. I did too. I get that. I understand that. Well, at least social 3, right? But I thought SP7 or SP8, and I don't think he is SP7. I don't think he's a 7 at all. You know, like you'd have to really ignore what the 7 is about as a type to look at someone like Tate and be like, that's a 7 core. And it doesn't matter. SP7 is not some fucking Sigma. SP7 is not some huge big dick motherfucker going around being aggressive and shit. That's not a fucking SP7. You know, they're not this way. So he's probably an SP8. And it would make sense. Exploitative as fuck, antisocial as fuck, right? All about his personal satisfaction, strength. It could make sense. But we'll see once the book drops. Listen, he's not an SX3. You do realize, right? You cannot be overtly antisocial as a person where you will look bad, literally frowned upon as immoral by the society that you're trying to appeal because you are driven by passion of vanity. That is a contradiction. That's a contradiction. It makes no fucking sense. You know? It makes no sense. Come on. You're driven by passion of vanity, but you also don't give a fuck about society, or you don't care what anyone thinks. So you show off how immoral and bad you are. No 3-core ever. You know? Fuck. He's too funny for SP8. SP8 is kind of... Well, SP8 is described as that, though. SP8s can be very charismatic and, like, you know, like the car salesman who's gonna talk. That's the SP8. I mean, that's how they're described. And by the way, I'm not talking about his socionics type. You know, I'm just saying about his Enneagram type. I don't know his socionics type. What do you think about FLVE for SP3?
FLVE. Oh man. Well, in the correct methodology for typing, right? In general, is go case by case. If you're just typing the theory itself, which can only give you so much, SP3 is a high volition type. It would only be 1V or 2V. And I think there's better cases for it being 2V.
There's no such thing as antisocial 3 in that sense. There's no such thing. No such thing. And I'm gonna go even deeper, right? Ted Bundy, which I typed as a social 3, which I think he's probably a 3-core, was a fucking serial killer who killed 36 women. Now you're gonna tell me he's antisocial. We'll agree on that. But you know what doesn't make any fucking sense when you compare someone like him to someone like Tate? That unlike Tate, Mr. Serial Killer Psychopathic Motherfucker 3-core always tried to portray himself in a positive light. Always. He never wanted people to see him in a negative way. Sophisticated, controlled, very pleasant, very nice. He cares about people. He helps people because he worked in a suicide hotline. Wow, he saved lives. And that's the serial killer, by the way. We're talking about serial killer. That's a 3-core. That's as antisocial as a 3-core can be. And he still portrayed the front of someone who wants to be accepted by society. Now, Tate ain't no serial killer. But he is very outward with his antisocial behavior. And by the way, no one in society glazes antisocial behavior. It's not a thing. You guys think it's a thing. It's not. No one in this society will actually reward you for being antisocial. You will be a reject in life. People will look down on you in life. You are gonna be a degenerate. That's not, no, it's not positive. Whoa,
that's a good point.
So cool, bro. He doesn't give a, he breaks the law. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna have some kids doing that shit, but society, in the society's eyes, you're a fucking degenerate. Most people would not want to be around you. They'll be like, yo, this guy's a fucking lowlife. And that's the fact.
You made an excellent point. I never put that together, but you're so fucking right. Being antisocial is the first way to have literally no fucking like positive regard towards you. No one gives a fuck about you. No one, you can literally be cast off, and society will forget about you. Which is why I'm hot take a lot. Not even a hot take. A lot of 1Vs are very pro-social, lawful. Yeah, they can be rebellious, but they're pro-social rebels. They're not anarchists. They don't just want everyone do whatever you want and I don't care and leave me alone, you know? They're always like, this structure is bad. I'm gonna make a better structure. I'll be in charge of it though, but I'm gonna make a better structure. Or this structure is okay, but the people are running it are bad, so I'm gonna take it over. Molded in my image maybe, but I'm gonna take it over. But you don't really see antisocial people as 1V, because 1Vs are actually naturally
like
pro-social.
Truly antisocial people. Truly antisocial people. They're degenerates. Like truly antisocial people who break the law and live outside of law. Yeah, they're degenerates. You wouldn't want to be around them. I guarantee you. If we all went to a party, no one would invite that person. No one would want to be around them. They'll be a fucking social reject. So, truly antisocial people, no one looks up to them. And I think only on fucking PDB people think antisocial people are glamorized. I mean, maybe in this little PDB
online, yeah.
I think maybe if you're 15 and you're online, you think that's cool. But in real life, and actually real life with adults, I assure you, if you are an adult in an adult environment, someone acts antisocial, everyone's gonna be like this.
Oh my god, you can really break down the psychology of this, like even taking it away from like fucking Enneagram or typology. Younger people like fantasizing about being an antisocial person who is charming and has it all, but is like a sigma against society. Because what does that represent? It represents a fantasy that they can be shy and socially awkward, but also have deep control over their life, and it could be a positive thing, actually. And that's why being antisocial is so glamorized by teenagers who are still trying to figure out their personality and just trying to fit in. I think you can really start breaking down these like archetypes into a deeper psychology for sure.
Look at Drake constantly posing as hard. Drake doesn't pose it. Drake's a fucking dude. Drake is a softie. And just because he says I don't care, it doesn't mean shit. Because if you look at his career, he's like doing like cute like dance moves. Like, come on, look at his life, then you'll see. Just because he says, I don't care, I use people, I'm a gangster. And he doesn't live like a gangster. He doesn't fucking behave like a gangster. You know? Tate exploited women. He did. And he talked about it. And I assure you, he probably was violent too. Like, it's not just talking, it's doing. And you see this in Tate. Look at his character. You see that shit in him. He's capable of that. You look at him, you fucking know Drake. Yeah, Drake could do some bad shit for sure, but that fucking guy's a poser, you know? He's, oh my god, he LARPs. How does he LARP hardcore? By saying, well, he's a gangster? I don't fuck with this at all. In your opinion, what's the key difference? The key difference is that the 2-core, right? It can come across as much more eccentric, as much more The 3 core is much more self-controlled. Control, sophistication, being acceptable in the eyes of society, in the eyes of people, to be kind of seen in an admirative way. The sexual 2 isn't this way. They have a sense of that they're so full of love, that they're the most generous, that they're the most loving, that they're the most forgiving, that they're the most wise, they're the most supportive, that you need them, and they're gonna make you depend on them. So in fact, the Stukor has an inflated sense of self, that they are essential, that people need them. This is not the case for the sexual 3. The sexual 3 does not exist without other people. The sexual 3 does not exist without the eyes of society, without the eyes of people. He doesn't. Because underneath that image that he identified as, there's nothing. There is nothing. It's a robot with nothing inside of it.
You know, one of my hot takes, if social 3, right? If social 3 did not have such needs to conform to society standards of success, like if they were able to derive their own standards like the way like the social 7 does, a social 3 would probably be one of the most first volition types in the Enneagram. They're like a great example of how someone can be completely participatory in the social realm, but have almost full control of their experience within the social realm. And you're not going to see an anarchist, antisocial person achieve that level of control and power over their own lives. That's my hot take.
Anarchy plus control of self. That kind of, yeah, it's like a major contradiction there. It's not a thing, you know?
Yeah, I would even say anarchy is kind of like a... It feels more like a low volition ideal too.
To me, anarchy is some 4V shit, bro. I don't know. Like, fucking
yeah,
rule nothing. Fuck it. Just...
Because initially it feels like, yeah, anarchy, that's like super 1V. They're going against the grain. But 1Vs are not... They don't want to necessarily just go against the grain. They want a result in volition. And they wouldn't... Once they dismantle a system, which is what an anarchist try to do, why would they let go of that power? We're talking the same type as Caesar, right? When he gained power more centrally, you know, and had control over the Republic, right? Afterwards, he didn't just like, okay, and now my people be free, run amok, you know, be free. No, he just kept that shit. And every 1V is the same in that way. They're not going to hand it over. Once they dismantle a system, they're going to make their own system. Yeah. They are the status quo. They're just very successful at well, not I want to say it's very successful. Yeah. That's me glazing. But they will
attempt to do it.
Yeah. That's exactly what they try to do. Their philosophy is the strongest because they're finding a reason to be in charge. It's actually, there's so many, all the 1V highly correlated 1V types in Enneagram are always like that. Social 1, I'm morally superior. Listen to me. Give me all the power. I'm social 2. I'm here. Listen to me. Check my brand out. I will do everything. I have all the capabilities. Give me all the power. I'm social 8. Brotherhood, loyalty, respect, unity. Give me all the power. Social 7, I have moral superiority. I have so much ideas about everything. Everything can be better. Give me all the power. And it's always a pro-social type of revolution that is for the people and it's for the common folk, but it's really always a LARP. 1Vs are LARPers. They LARP like they are this.
And people don't get this, right? Person. This is gonna be a hot take. 1V will almost LARP as democratic. You might not. You might not even think they will. They might seem that way. Oh yeah, I respect your rights. I believe people are equal. Yeah, I respect your rights. Of course, I don't want to violate your rights.
Yeah.
And the way I always look at 1Vs at kind of self-focus, it's, my wife really says it, explain it very well. It's simply obliviousness. That's how I would, because sometimes people think, oh, the 1V is so self-obsessed. I'm not self-obsessed, you know. The desires of others sometimes don't cross my mind. It's true, but it's more like a childlike obliviousness. That's how I would say it. It's like a kid who is focused on his way, and so it doesn't register other people's desires as much, you know. But it doesn't mean that you just ignore them, you know. So if I mean, I'm acting selfish, and someone points out, you know, hey, you know, you're kind of doing this, I'm gonna make sure, hey, you know, I'm sorry, of course I don't want to be a selfish dickhead, you know, like logically my needs aren't more important objectively than yours, right? They're not more important objectively than yours, but instinctually it seems to be that that's the case, because that's the way I live my life. So it's a very confusing split between intellectually believing, you know, that you're not more important than others, and your needs are not more important objectively than others. There's no reason for that. But yet you always focus on your own volition. You focus on your own path, you know? So it's such a mix, such a duality or a contradiction.
Yeah, and I think I really like this, because if you start looking at 1V, in the way they operate, it's always they want to appear lawful. They want to appear pro-social. They want to make you believe they're one of your own, and they want everything equally. But the reality is that they always are there's some people that are more equal than others, and they are that some people, and you are all not. The idea of a 1V person that is just completely antisocial is not a great example. I'm pretty sure they exist. I'm not saying 1Vs can't be antisocial, but your traditional stereotypical first volition person is someone who operates in society, within society's constraints and norms and regulations, and chooses when to follow it and when not to, when it was convenient not to do so. And that's why I really like it. And people confuse that. Isn't that like second volition, to want everyone to be equals? Isn't social 8 like 2V? Isn't social 7 like 2V, because they want to be Democrats, they want to be equals? It's like, right, no, that's you're falling for the sauce, bro. You're
falling big time for the
fucking sauce, bro. No social 7 actually wants to be equal to you. No social 8 actually wants to be equal to you. They want to take the spirit of collectiveness as a tool for power, and they might not even fully conscious of it.
It's almost this weird, like, yeah, we're all equal guys, we're all brothers.
Yeah.
Yep. But factually, he's in charge, okay, and everyone knows he is in charge. But that's okay, you know, and that's the point, man. Right? Like, yeah, he's gonna be like, no, we're all equal here. I care about, you know, we're all in this together. But the truth of the matter of fact, is that he has the power. He has the power. He might not flex it, he might not use it, but he has the power. And that's the thing, you know? Like, at least that's why I see myself, you know? Yeah, you know, I always... It's a sense that I have the power, so in whatever, you know, if it's my community, I've built it, I'm responsible for it, so it's mine. And I know it's mine. That's why I'm not gonna be. I don't need to flex on those people. I don't need to like use it against those people. I want them to feel like they're as big of a part of it as me. But I've made it. So, and they know I've made it, because they know. So what's the point of flexing or doing shit? They know I made it. It's a fact. It's literally a fact. Okay? So people's perceptions don't matter. It's a fact. Now, if they start trying to challenge it, that's where you might see another part. That's why you might see another side to it, you know, where you should, that's the without the sauce part, you know, raw with no sauce. So, but let's answer this question for this person. I sexual 9.
You got it, bro.
You got it, bro. You're probably
I can only take correlation so far.
You're probably mistyped. If I was to fucking roll a dice, I'd probably say you're fucking mistyped, yeah. You're probably mistyped. Because as far as I know, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you though. Section 9 is in a very weird spot. No cap. Like, I'm gonna be super honest with you. Section 9 is very strange. Because it's like, it seems FE ignoring because it doesn't want to impose its moods on people, right? It doesn't want to do that. So it's almost like, shit, is it an EII? But it's not SE vulnerable either. But SCI is also a contradiction. So nothing fits. Basically, if I was you and I know what you're doing, by the way. You got into WSS, you are into Western socionics, everyone types you IEI because you're deep. Because you think about the future. You're an artist. Or whatever the fuck, right? You think about the future, you're mystical. You want to get dominated, right? So that's what happens. You think you're an IEI, and everyone thinks around you're an IEI. That's a K. You have three options. Pick one. EII, ESI, SCI. Pick one of those options. But you're not IEI, okay? You're not IEI. Just pick one of those options for you. Regardless of the correlation. Stupid correlation. Section 9 is just a mess. It's a mess. It's in a very messy situation. Ah, man. Let me see. Can 2L and 3L be confused? Yes, they can. But anything can be confused. The difference is, my friend, listen. Second logic is bulletproof. Second logic is very confident. So they can play with ideas. They can ask you to elaborate on things. But it's not that they're trying to learn so much, but they're trying to test their ideas. They might kind of see what can be gained there, and they can test it. They're not afraid of throwing their logic at the wind to get challenged that way. Third logic is much more careful. Third logic is the type, like, oh yeah, discuss. Shit gets really tough, they fuck off. They bounce. You don't know where they are. Yo, where the fuck is the third logic? Ran away. Run away like a bitch. That's the third logic. Shit gets heated, third logic runs away. Because it's not going to humiliate itself. It doesn't know, it doesn't have the answer. But the third logic is weak. It lacks process. It can, but it's weak, it's indecisive. It is doubtful of its capabilities in the logical realm. So they can go in circles, but it's a weak placement.
Yeah.
It's a weak placement.
I have two things to add to this, right? I mean, you obviously explained this really well, and you being a 3L makes it easier for you to explain. I just wanted to talk about, because this was really topical today in the server. I was just talking about how first volition, or volition in general, can just, by community perspective, make everything so messy and muddy and disgusting. For example, if you are typing someone, right, you could say oh yeah, this person's like a 1L, right? You can easily just say, actually, they're just 1V 3L. It looks like they're 1L, but they're just 1V, And that's actually not the right way to fucking use PY. Because placements are still important. Yeah, volition has an effect on placements, but that doesn't mean that now because you're 1V 3L instead of 3L 4V, now your 3L is actually just fucking at the first logic level now. It doesn't work like that. Even a 1V is going to clearly fit into a third placement, no matter how it seems outside. So that's the first thing.
People try to
second thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead. You can finish what I say. I'll say it afterwards.
It's because people sometimes act like the third, the 1v3e sums at all is not 3e at all. It's completely free and emotional expression. It's what happened? What the fuck
I was just saying that in the chat today. I was 3E by itself, dead inside, dead outside.
Monotone.
No, dead outside,
Monotone.
Live inside. 3E with 1V. Theater, magic, movie.
Yeah. What the fuck is
charisma? Just it's the craziest thing. And it's just a 1V fixes all. 1V can cure cancer, bro. That's that. I joke about that. Second thing is, this is actually described that your second placement is the least affected by your volition. Now, it is affected. Don't get me wrong. It is the least affected by volition as well. So if you're comparing a second logic to a third logic, if you talk to the person, they will in fact come across with these attitudes to these placements. A 2L and a 3L will never have that same attitude when it comes to it, and you gotta remember that. Yeah, you can make a first volition 2L, right, and compare it to a fourth volition 2L, and be like, yeah, the first volition 2L is a lot more like assertive. The logic is used to, have a certain result with volition. It's a tool, sure, whatever, right? But at no point will a 1V's 2L and a 4V's 2L not still fit 2L. Because what's the fucking point of the placements anymore? Placements don't matter. You have to balance it out. You have to see it holistically. Volition has an effect on placements, but not enough to literally erase them. So you can't just say, oh, that person comes across like a 2L because they're 2V, 3L.
Oh my god,
Yeah, they could.
that's a mental gymnastic.
I
Yes.
hate that shit because it's like, yeah, in some ways they're more confident than a 4V, 3L, but they're not gonna not fit 3L at
Yeah,
the end of the
you
day.
should I'm the 1V. You should look at me and be like, that's a very 3L individual.
Gigacope. That's Gigacope.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I'm gonna stop it there.
Of course, man. You did good. You did good. There's a question I wanted to answer. Let me see. I fucking motherfucker. Yeah, this one, Ring. It's for you.
Let's see. Question for Ring. What is your take on E2PY? Are they considered vagabonds who pose as kings? Which kind of would it hint as an insecure volition? Do you think 3V would be archetypal for E2? Let's look at the way Naranjo explained social 2, emperor, sexual 2, king, SP2, prince. All described to be some sort of royalty and being in a privileged position to others. It makes sense that the social 2 is generally seen archetypically as 1V, right? And it makes sense that archetypically SP2 is seen to be as 3V, sometimes even 4V, but I think 3V fits a bit better. They see themselves in that kind of entitled special way, right? I don't think you can make a clear volitional placement for E2 itself. You kind of have to go into the subtypes, which we're kind of doing here. I will say that that in general they seem to be aggressive volition. I would say that's the biggest takeaway. I don't think social 2 is likely to be lower than a first volition. I think that
it doesn't make
I don't think that makes sense. You can make an argument that like SP2 could be 4V in some ways. I don't think it's archetypical, and I think sexual 2 is very good for 3V.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I think that it's very unlikely that this type E2s would have lower. It's tough. I will say it's not an exact science for sure. And I think that you can make an argument. I don't think that any of the E2s would have ulcer aggressive. There we go. Aggressive emotions. I don't think any of the E2s would have aggressive emotions. I think it's likely that the E2 has process physics, in general. There's some like vagueness when it comes to social 2, but that's generally the way I see it. Of course, I think that logic is definitely lower end for E2. That's something that you can see from the core, right? That logic is definitely deprioritized in the E2 family, subtype family. But that's all I would say about it. If you go any more deeper than that, you'd have to look into the subtypes, but even then it's tenuous. This is not an exact science, but that is what I've seen so far. That would be my best bet to you without lying to you and promising you more than what you can actually get.
Very good. Is IEI SCS that different from WSS one? Well, my experience with WSS IEIs is that rarely ever do they stay in IEI in classic socionics. In my experience, most of the IEIs I've seen typed are ESIs and EIIs. Most of them. My wife used to type AI, and all everyone told her she's such an AI in Western fucking socionics. Wow. Wow, fucking AI. And what? She's an ESI. It's a circle jerk. Western socionics is a fucking joke. That's what it is. By the way, Ibrahim blocked me. I'm very glad he did. I'm very fucking happy he blocked me. I'm fucking so happy. And he blocked me because I said something. I kind of mocked him. Like, not like high key, but kind of mocked him. Because he was saying some weird shit about the vulnerable. You know how he is. Sometimes he goes yapping. And he's writing some weird shit on PDB. Misinforming people. So I wrote, and he's like, why would you write to me? Because it's not relevant and it's not part of the original post. And I said, well, you keep on misinforming people, somehow keep writing. Dude blocked me. Yeah. I mean, it really scares me that a person can not learn ever. Like, they don't improve their knowledge. It's actually scary to me. Like, they don't improve their knowledge, but God bless your soul, Ibrahim. God bless your soul. Hopefully you recover. Hopefully you'll be better next time. But yes, IEIs are often ESIs and EIIs in classic socionics. Classic socionics is better. Simple as. What did he write? I don't know. I think it was about... You know how in Western socionics you're vulnerable is the fucking like... You don't care about your vulnerable.
You don't give a shit about. It's like you're suggestive.
It's just you just chilling. You just don't care. Like you just I don't give a fuck. Fuck this, right? And he said something about that. I think because someone was asking a question. Oh, this is the polar or some shit, and I'm like, oh. And I know. Okay, I understand. We're using two different schools, but fuck me, that hurt me when I saw it. Holy shit. And so I remember my mate, my another 8-core mate of mine, he posted something Ibrahim started writing. And Ibrahim was kind of like being sassy with him. And I'm like... And we asked Ibrahim to explain where the fuck... Like what... Because he's like, that's not true. And you know what he did? I swear to God. He sent us a link to his website. Explaining his own shit. I'm like, motherfucker, I didn't ask for a random motherfucker explaining shit to me. I asked for a source. And he sends his own website, like it's a fucking proof. Like it's, look, I made it the fuck up. It's like, well, nice. You made it the fuck up. That's good. I'm not asking you to make it the fuck up. I'm asking for a source, Holy shit, man, those people. Oh, shit, man. I'm gonna lose my voice. My wife, she says I'm too loud. Often. She says, I feel like I'm not yelling. She always says, you raise your voice or you're loud. You always you talk very loud. So I'm gonna whisper. I'm gonna try to be like I don't know. I don't think I yell. It's not yelling. Yeah, okay, I talk loudly a bit. That's whatever, right? But people think I yell, or people think I'm very loud. I don't know why. Sounds like their problem, Yo, that's literally it, though. You get me? Like, source, trust me, bro. I look at this cube that I made. He's like showing this mathematical fucking geeky cube with the names. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck am I looking at?
If we're shitting on some socionics, I have to say, even though it's like authentic orthodox socionics, I can't handle the shapes. The socio shapes for the elements. I fucking hate those.
But
you could just say TI, bro.
Yeah,
you could just
it's so,
like
but it's so pretentious. It's so geeky. It's a cube. It's a black cube. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's a black cube.
I hate the fucking shapes, bro.
And it's crazy when I saw like Ibrahim try to explain a concept and he had like graphs and cubes and mathematical shapes and I'm like, what the fuck am I reading? It's nothing. You're jerking off. You took your dick out and you start fucking wanking it. That's what you do.
Dude,
that's what you did.
as a fucking 2L, I already get mad at it. I don't get mad at like different ways of interpreting data, but I hate the fucking shapes and the math and stuff like
Yeah,
that because I can tell it's only for like a 2% enlightenment in terms of like the data and just trying to show something more, and it does almost nothing for the average person to understand socionics
the
more.
sh-
It's just somebody like look how precise and systemized
yeah, but
my
you know what it
information
does
is.
though? You know what it does actually? It actually turns everyone off. I
Yeah,
guarantee you, most people who opened the see bunch of fucking
and
graphs,
shapes,
they
bro.
close the website. They're like, I'm not gonna learn this fucking shit because it's not accessible to everyone. That's what I'm saying. That's why we need to make it accessible. Stop using fancy fucking words, shapes, cubes, explanation with million graphs. The whole goal of explaining a concept is to make it so that you can take a 5-year-old and you can teach him. And if you cannot take a concept, go to a 5-year-old and teach him, you need
Yeah.
to fucking fix your concept real quick because that's not working. And sometimes I think people think someone's smart because they write huge complex graphs. That doesn't mean shit unless you simplify the concept, because that's a sign that you understand the concept, to be able to simplify it. You talk to a 10-year-old, you're gonna adapt to a 10-year-old. You go to 15, you will be able to adapt your knowledge and the concept in a way that they will understand. That's a sign of intellect, you know? That's funny. Hello, Rasta Tapoji. Hello. How are you doing? I'm doing very good. It's Friday, you know. You know what I'm doing? Yelling on the stream, like fucking, like it's a usual Friday night. What's the topic of the video? Holy fuck, holy macaroni. I also got my subtype wrong. I'm actually a self-preservation 9. Well, what were you before? Before you were self-preservation 9. But okay, guys, listen. Okay, 2 minutes more. We're quitting. We are quitting.
Yo, yeah, let's rapid fire these
We are
questions.
rapid firing the questions, guys. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So this was for ring.
Do you think a sexual 2 and SP2 will prioritize emotions over physics and mental hierarchy? Huh, that's a good question. I think that I think it's unlikely, but it's not too far off. If you end up being a E over F and E2, I wouldn't complain. I think it's fine.
Look at how generous you are.
I think physics is gonna win out most of the time. But yeah, that's my answer. If I offer more than that, that's like promising you more than you can really get. It's fine if you think you're E over F and be E2, but I think F over E makes more sense in terms of energy and defense mechanisms. Next question. Yeah, I just think SP2 has a really solid third volition. Like I think that's fine, right? But I would really if before I even go into EFLV, I'd probably look into FELV myself personally. I don't think SP2 necessarily fits 1E as well as it fits 2E, but if you have a case argument, I'm willing to hear it out. Next question.
Next question.
We rapid fire this shit, bro.
Ichazo and Naranjo. Ichazo, both. Both. Naranjo for the clinical, Ichazo for. I prefer to use
Transformation.
Naranjo, but, you know, both have value. Is it normal for social 4 to be a moody person? Yeah, I think you should probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be melancholic, and I think that comes with moodiness for sure. But did they answer the 3E question? What 3E question? Uh, is it common for counter types to dislike their core or other subtypes in core? That sounds like a personal thing. That doesn't sound like a type counter
Or
type thing.
subtypes in the
Yeah.
core? No, not really. If it is, it's a personal thing, like Rick West said.
Do you guys talk about typology outside of the internet? Raska's indoctrinated wife. Jesus Christ. The way you said that,
Yeah,
indoctrinated
that
wife. You fucking brainwashed.
I that's so funny. That's so funny. That's not an assumption that, you both just got into typology. It's like you indoctrinated her.
Yeah, it's not like we met in typology. It's like I
Yeah.
brainwashed her, obviously. But I don't talk to people outside of the internet about typology, mainly because I wouldn't mind talking about it if it became a topic. For example, what I'm doing or something like that, maybe. But it's a heavy topic because people might be curious, and then you need to explain concepts that are very heavy. You need to simplify them very, very, very quickly, on the most basic level, where even the biggest beginner can understand. So that can be a bit challenging, but I, I don't talk to anyone about typology. No one really around me knows about it. I prefer it that way, even sometimes, to be honest. It's kind of nice to interact with the world where no one really obsesses about typology and shit. I like that typology, like with my friends, it's cool, but I sometimes, people are people, so it's kind of cool to think that way. What about you, Rain?
I've definitely gotten people in my life into typology, or I've tried to. I think it's fun. I don't find it hard really to explain the concepts to people. I actually have a good time breaking it down to a more simpler form and seeing their like understanding grow over time. I've gotten a lot of family members into it. I've gotten some friends into it. And if you know me for long enough, I'm eventually going to talk about it anyway. So I like to bounce ideas off of people. So I've actually gotten a lot of people into typology.
Uh, Look at you, charlatanistic seven ko, eh? Can you guys talk about the defense mechanism? Identification is a strange thing to understand the heat of conflict. Isn't it just identifying with the projected idealized image? So
Yeah.
basically, you lost touch in what the fuck who you are. That's what it is. So
Yeah.
you are
There's like,
completely
mhm.
identified with as ambitious, driven, perfectionistic, successful, person. That's who you are. You are completely identified with the idealized image. That's my perception of it. What's your ring?
I think you explained it really well.
That's it. Simple, man. Simple. Uh, thoughts on my fucking correlations. Fuck you guys. Fuck me. You guys know how to cause me pain. Do you think INFP 9 and self-preservation 9 work? No, sir, it doesn't work. Thoughts on EFLV, social 9 and sexual 9? Weird. 1E 9 core? That's fucking weird, man. Why?
Yeah.
Why
First,
emotion
physics
and
fits it
not
so well.
physics? I don't know.
Physics fits it so well.
Fits it well. How does WSS irrationality translate to rationality? Don't know really about even how rationality is described in WSS. Can't answer that. Did you guys meet on PDB? Fuck no. We didn't meet on PDB. Thank God. Uh, but okay. Would you say that no? No. Social nines wouldn't work better for INFPs. The one that would work better maybe is the sexual 9. If maybe, but they're very sensorical types. Okay, guys, listen. I'm open to it. So we are wrapping everything up, okay? Guys, we'll see each other on Sunday. Okay? Sunday as agreed upon. So okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Whoa.
Yeah, I see the attitude though. I see the attitude change. You see how he's like, okay, bye. Like he don't want us anymore. He's like, he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I get that.
Funny.
I respect it. But fuck, yo, I feel like I'm Dying.
And
Dying up on this
everyone
microphone.
in the chat asking for like VLFE, VLEF like
Yeah,
correlations. I feel like we talked about it so
we
many
talked
times, and I
about it
feel
so
like
many times. But
like nothing's really changed,
nah,
you know?
nothing changed, and now
Like,
we're bouncing, okay? Yappa?
yeah,
Mr. Yappa, we're gonna go now, okay?
we're gonna go.
We're gonna go now. Okay, guys. So, thank you so much for appearing on the stream, guys. You guys are the best. The Rusted Nation strikes again. Remember, we always decapitate the opposition, right? Sunday stream. Stay tuned, boys and girls. Ciao.
See ya.